Welcome back, everybody, to the 2025 Derby City Classic. We are in round number 11, and as you can see, we are in the 9-ball division. It is the final division of 3 divisions here at the Derby City Classic. We have 2 world-class players, Fedor Gorst versus Jesus Atencio. As you see on your screen, they've got Gorst as an 80% favorite. I guess you've got to make him a favorite, but 80% seems big to me. I am your host, Scott Frost, and thank you all for joining us tonight. They are playing on a 9-foot beautiful black diamond table, 4.5-inch pockets, and we are playing a ranking event, a WNT ranking event. They rack the 9 on the spot. It is winner break. 3-foul rule is in effect. Jump cues are allowed. And all things go, meaning you can slop the 9, but the real goal is that they're trying to make the 1 on the side and get a look at the 2. We'll talk about the year that Fedor Gorst had last year a little bit as this match progresses, but Fedor winning the lag, so immediately down to break, looking to make the 1 in the right-hand side. Yeah, he was very short with the 1, so he's not going to be in love with that result, but he won't mind the fact that Jesus might have to look at a rollout. He is great with the jump cue, and I mean great. There is a video flying around, it's been around for a while now, where he double jumped a ball in competition, meaning he double jumped 2 balls, and made it. I don't see anything terrible about pushing to the top left corner here. It's probably your safest position. It's a little more dangerous. The guy you're playing plays pretty good. It's not the worst by any means. Matter of fact, he might get it back, just because if Gorst goes to cut at this 1, I don't think he can beat the 9. Definitely can't beat all those balls coming back up. I don't see anything real automatic as far as defense. He's going to evaluate, and he quickly hands it back. Took over the push out real quick. It's the player at the table's option to play the cue ball wherever they'd like. They call a push out. Your opponent has the option to play it where it lies or return it to the guy that pushed out. In this case, Jesus. Yeah, ultra thin right there. Really ultra thin. I didn't mind him going at it. I felt like if he knocked it down, there was a good chance he got some type of look at the blue 2. This is just the start that Gorst was waiting for. Gonna go rail first here, most likely. This is the only angle I have to work with. It's not the worst, but some of these lines will fool me at times. Can you avoid the 9? He'd like to have got that cue ball up another 2 rotations. He'd have been thrilled with that, but just avoid the 9, get back out towards the center. No broken bones. Everything falling in line here. The 4 will open the 7 up. The 5 is pretty clear to the 6. Fedor Gorst No losses up until this point. Jesus would like to change that. Just come out past the 9. You can handle getting straight, but an angle works. Now most likely going to go to the side. Actually hard to tell. He can just come back and forth. This tournament here, one of the tournaments, or only tournaments I should say, that I see Fedor getting into a little bit of a rhythm that I don't typically see him getting into, meaning his pace around the table gets a little bit quicker. Probably because of all the pool you're playing, he's just so incredibly comfortable at the table. It did not take long for the young man from Russia to get game number 1. Talking about Gorst last year, they talk about the Gorst Slam. Nobody's really ever done it in a year. Wins the World Pool Masters, then the World Pool 9-Ball Championships in Saudi Arabia, which I was there for, paid $250,000 up top. He beat Ekland Kachi in the finals. I'm sure many of you have seen that. One of the most intense sets I've ever been a part of, probably the most intense set I've ever watched. You could literally cut the room with a butter knife. And the last event that he won, which I might touch on a little bit more, he beat Shane Van Boning in the finals. Shane was going for his 6th title at one U.S. Open in Atlantic City. And I don't think it could have been a better final. Everybody was happy if Gorst won, but also everybody pulling for SVB to get number 6. So he made an adjustment on the break. The 1 went high this time, but just a touch. 7 gonna lay up. And this does not look good for Atencio. Jesus, a 787. Gorst, an 846. Just wants to drift this in. I don't think he wants to make the 1. Great speed. Might take a look at the left side here for this ball. Could also play the 3 in the same pocket as the 1, just coming over and out. Yeah, that'll be perfect. As I mentioned, 4.5-inch black diamonds, aramith balls, Simona's cloth. Really the cleanest equipment you can get. Okay, he might take a little steeper look at the 5 here just because he doesn't want any contact with the green 6. Should end up about perfect though. I don't think the 6 is a big ball here. Gorst really feeling good. You can see it in everything he's doing right now. Probably go to the side with the 6, a little easier to get to the 8. You just don't want to end up funky on the 6 to the corner. No problemo for the Ghost. And a quick 2-0 lead from a simple push out that Jesus got back in game number 1. Jesus overcut the one by some margin, and it's been all Fedor Gorst. I wouldn't be shocked if he ran a few more. Some of the players Gorst has beat so far in the event. He's beat Rob Saez in round 4, beat him 9-1 in round 5. He beat Roberto Gomez 9-7. Then in round 7, he beat Jeremy Seaman 9-4. Round number 9, beat Can Salim, another great young player, beat him 9-2. And in round 10, he had a hill thriller, just squeezed it out versus Billy Thorpe. Keep an eye at the pace at which the one travels to the side. Gorst known to have one of the more powerful cut breaks on the tour. Yeah, and that's how you can tell it just smokes into the middle. Okay. Big look on the 2 as well. Take another look. So the first break he was short with the 1. The second break he was a little bit long. And the third break he got it dialed in. And I guess I can touch on that real quick for you folks at home if you're trying to figure out how to cut break with the 9 on the spot. So if you're breaking the balls as a cut break and the 1 comes short of the side, you want to adjust a little bit thicker into the 1. Now if your 1 is coming past the side, you want to adjust a little bit thinner. You're basically playing the 1 just right of that lower right diamond or that upper right diamond. And a big miss for Fedor. So it's really about how thick or thin you're catching the 1. Speed, not as important. Notice the 4 down here. So he'd like to get past the 3, and it's awful tricky coming out of these corners when the ball is deep. This is going to be pretty good, unless it's falling a lot thinner than I think. Wasn't easy to come out of that corner like that. Just wants to shave this ball. I've heard that Jesus is going to start playing a little bit more. He is a family man. He's a great guy and such a talented player. You can assure that if he plays more, that Fargo will rise quickly. Initially born in Venezuela. Spends a lot of time with Carlos Sanchez. Good friends with a bunch of the Spanish players, David Alcaide and FSR. Yeah, do you consider going rail first here? He's falling a little straight on the 5. Just worried about getting too far away from the 6 most likely if he goes rail first. And that'll tell you right there. So now looking to just shorten the cue ball up or the distance, play the 6 on the right side. I like the decision. I actually feel like, well, he's caught the point a little bit, I think. At least they made 6 pockets. Did he fall straight here? Fun player to watch, this guy here. Of course, Gorst is fun, but you just never feel like Gorst is going to make a mistake. This young man's real aggressive. He's also on the board, trailing 2-1. Jesus lost his very first round to Shane Van Boening. We are now obviously in round 11. In round 2, that's a pretty tough draw, right? You draw Shane Van Boening in round 1, and then in round 2 you draw Oscar Dominguez. Well, Oscar Dominguez took the loss, and then he beat Evan Lunda in round 5, Mark Vidal in round 6. Then he ended up beating Shane Wolford 9-8, Mickey Krause 9-8 in round 9. His last 3 matches were actually Hill. Round 10, which was last round, he defeated Pia Filler, who was leading in that match. I watched part of it. I believe she was up 9-7, or excuse me, 8-6. As a matter of fact, I'm positive she was up 8-6. Jesus come back and win 9-8. Now finds himself here versus Gorst. He too has started off short with the 1. And he better hope the 8 has it covered. And it does not. The door is open for Gorst. So he'd like to track 3 rails here. He's got a little bit of traffic. I don't think the 8's a problem, but the 3 could become a big ball. The 2 does not pass the 7 in the top right, so he just needs to avoid the 3. Yeah, this is absolutely perfect. Speed is perfect as well. Might have fallen a little straight. If so, he can pinch back. Would like an angle on the 3, depending on where he plays the 3, but you can see the 4 does not pass the 8 in the lower left. So he is able to go forward. All the way to the side now. He'll track 3 rails to the 4. Might be able to hold it up. I don't know if he can check it off this right long rail or not. Just seems a little more natural to elevate a little bit, come 3. That's what he's going to do. Going to finish on the rail, but I think that was in part of where the 5 was. I don't think he wanted to flirt with the 5. Yeah, notice the speed at which he hit the 5 to the 6. Did not want the 5 going anywhere. Watch those strings on your sweatshirt, young man. This is not all ball fouls, so it wouldn't be a problem. These guys are all gentlemen. Just having a little fun. Although there are a few players out there that might call a foul. Not mentioning any names. Gorst with a natural 9 to go up 3 games to 1. Yeah, so a slower year for Atencio. Only earned 1,400. I think that has a lot to do with family. Like I said, he is a big family man, and we highly respect that. 2023, I think he earned around 12,000. I was looking at this earlier. Really on record, or only on record playing Atencio. 2021 is when he first hit the map. That year he earned 23,000. 2022 he earned 27,000. A little different story for Fedor Gorst. Really doesn't get the credit he deserves with the break shot. You know, the more I cover him and the more I watch him break the balls on the World 9-Ball Tour, the power he has is just kind of overlooked at times. I mean, there's another look at it. Watch the cue ball here, though. Fortunate that he didn't go in the drink in either of those corners. Not certain if it got a kiss or not. Take another look. Might have kissed off the bottom of the 9, to be honest. No, no kisses. Maybe just let up on it a little bit. Boy, can he see this ball? Enough to make it. So looking at the line at which the cue ball will track. I think he would like contact with the orange 5 in this position. I don't think it'll hurt him by any means. Really want to level out here, I believe. Smooth this in. This is right up Fedor's alley. Maybe he was two-railing it to the top right corner. Caught it real heavy. Can he swerve this in? I can't quite tell what he's looking at there with the 3, so does he have to just swerve softly, catch it a little heavy with an outside ball and allow that spin to turn the 2 in here? Well, I don't know. Almost looked like he had the wrong English on that ball for it to track directly to the 4. Obviously also trying to play safe unless there was some type of miscue that I overlooked. Gorst's going to use the 5 and 7 here. He got that as well way too thick. Maybe a little bit fatigued, both of these guys. They are in around 11. They've played nothing but pool for the last several days. Started out with bank pool, then one pocket. Going just past the 4 here. And another big look for Gorst. He is one that will go out of his way to use an outside ball, even in positions where an inside ball might be a little bit more warranted. He is a big outside ball guy, and when I talk about him using outside, it's not that he's using a lot of outside. He's more just off center with a touch of outside, and in this case, it's like a touch of right. He really gets a lot out of it. There's several reasons players will do that. Gorst, for certain, on a lot of these situations, does it so that the ball does not kick or grab. I'm talking about the object ball there. It kind of helps the object ball to the pocket. Of course, most players' favorite English is the outside cue ball. But Fedor uses it in some particular situations that other pros won't. It sure seems to work for him. Just wants to float down here, I believe. He is one that can fool you at times. When he draws the cue ball, he starts at the center, and his very last swing will go low. Said he's been doing that since he first started playing. Not something that he tries to get away from. Big options here. He can come one rail. He can draw two rails out. It's all player preference. Just most likely going to use one. You have to put Fedor as the favorite right now to win this event. No losses into round 11, leading 4-1 after game number 5 versus Jesus Atencio. Couple of pretty good years for Fedor Gorst. 2024. Hard money earned, $510,000. It's a pretty good year for a pool player, and we're just talking about hard money. Money that was recorded via tournament. I can assure you, he's made at least that in endorsements. So a pool player, can you imagine making $1 million in a year? Well, this is what Matchroom is doing for certain players. If you can win, they'll turn you into a star. It's a great time to be young and talented. Oh boy, he is devastating when he gets the breakdown. The power at which he has, just a bit misleading. But it's right up there with Eklund Kachi, his younger brother Cledio, SVB, Pelavanovic. There's a handful of them that really get into the ball a little bit more than the rest. Okay, is he just crossing this over? Coming down behind the 9 and 3. Not going to quite get the snooker, I don't believe. Speed on the cue ball was proper. Not a lot of fun, this blue 2. Now, if you can knock it down, you're going to have to use a little bit of power. The 9 covering the 3 up. You'd love to get behind the 3 here, if you can knock it down. Heavy. How's this going to finish? I don't think good for Jesus. Gorst going to be off to the races again. Yeah, just make sure you get above the 3 here. Somehow you stay below it, you're in quite a bit of trouble. Purple 4 at the top of the table. And this is absolutely perfect. Have really 0 problems here. Just getting to the 6, but as long as he carries an angle on the 4, everything is rosy. Can't go forward or stun up. When I mean forward, he could just come out between the 7 and 8 or just stun up. Oh, he was pretty straight, so I had to come below the 8. There's the soft hands. Drags the ball. As good as anybody. Quick work by Gorst. Moving right along. Yeah, so a couple of good years. 2023, this young man made just under $300,000. There was no Gorst Slam in 2023, but I'll tell you what, he had a pretty good year. He won the Mini Derby. That's the event at Rail Yard Billiards. Cal Ferguson holds. Great room owner. Yeah, what did he win here? Yeah, he won the Mini Derby Open 10 ball, the Mini Derby Open 9 ball. I think he won every event, actually. Won the Mini Derby Open Banks ring game. Speaking of Banks, took first in 2023 in the bank pool event at the Derby. Skinny Bob's 9-ball Classic, took first place. Skinny Bob's 9-ball Classic 1-pocket division, took first place. World 10-ball championships, took third, paid $20,000. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on and on and on for Gorst. Needs a 15,000 square foot house just for the trophies, from what I'm seeing. That was one of his majors as well. He won the Paris Open, which is just before Hanoi, out there in Vietnam. Paid $25,000 to win that event. And he is a star in Vietnam. They love him. What's not to love? He's a great young man. All right, Jesus, you don't want to return this, do you? The push out was called. Pretty hard to return anything back to Gorst when you're trailing 5 games to 1. Can you shave the right side of the 2, kind of like you're sending it over behind the 6, coming behind the 4 and 7? I'm a little surprised that he just gave this up. You don't want Fedor controlling the table. I feel like with a right cue ball here, leveled out, you can come off the right side of the 2 and use the 4 and 7. Maybe even hit it without any spin. Just come down behind the 9. No, this is kind of what I was looking at the whole time. Really surprised Jesus overlooked the play. 2 big balls to get behind there with the 4 and 7. You've got to take it from these guys because they're not going to give it to you. And in that score position, I felt like you had to do something to change the pace. And just long. Don't fault him with the power that he used, but probably expected the cue ball to shorten up a little bit more than it did. He is now, Fedor Gorst, a resident of the United States. His residency is in Indiana, not far from this venue. Last year he won the Turning Stone Classic. He won the Derby City 1 Pocket Division. Won the rally in the Shenandoah Valley, which is a ranking event for the World 9-Ball Tour. But really, we touched on his majors. The Whirlpool Masters really kicking it off for Gorst. Following it up in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia with the World 9-Ball Championships versus Kachi in the finals, and then defeating Shane Van Boening in the U.S. Open. It's a pretty good year, if you ask me. And we can see why. Game number 7 goes to Gorst. 6 games to 1. Speaking of 1, Fargo Rate has Atencio as a 1% chance to win this match. It's actually pretty cool how the numbers pan out like this, and statistically, obviously, pretty accurate over time. Boy, 1% seems slim in a winter break format. Yeah, we will see this a lot. He gets the 1 down, but the 2 tracks down here to the bottom rail. So distance, I don't believe he'll go at this. He's got a huge wall back there behind the 3, 4, and 5. Now he could stay aggressive and bank at the 2, but I don't believe the 3 passes the 4, so he can shave our left side of the 2. Friendly little feather off the yellow 9. Looking to dig behind the 2 here. You got to hit this easy. Oh, wow. What a clean strike. Really nice. I don't believe the 9 will pass the 6. Is he looking at the 2? Will it clear the 7 to the lower left for the bank? Could just draw under the 4 and 5 and send the 2 up towards the 7. Well, look at that. If he makes the 2, he had a window on the 3. If he doesn't make the 2, you're buried. Not very nice, Mr. Gorst. Yeah, pretty wide there. A little bit surprising, to be honest. I guess he had to spin it a little bit due to where the 3 was. But now he can easily reach the 3 with ball in hand on the 2. Anywhere below it. You can actually even overhit it a little bit and go to the lower left corner if he happens to, but he's probably going to underhit it at worst. That way he can go to the side if he needs to. Oh, he's going to stun over. I thought he might do it once I saw him cueing the cue ball. A little steep, but he should be able to pinch out one rail. Could be a little steeper than I think, but I think he can pinch out one rail. If he needs to go forward somehow, yeah, he's drawing the ball. Wow, he used every single piece of that pocket. You know, out of the gate, Jesus misses the 1 real thin off the push out. That was in game number 1. I think he missed another ball somewhere within this, but when you're trailing 5 games to 1 and you have a pretty good look at the object ball off of a push out and you don't take it from Gorst, and then Gorst lays you down behind it, that's really what we could look at there in game number 7 when Atencio passed up the push. You're not going to get a lot of opportunities in this format when a guy like this has been playing pool all week long. Game number 8 going to go to Gorst, leading 7 games to 1. $50,000 for first place at the U.S. Open. $250,000 up top when he won the World Pool Championships in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Both of those events, Matchroom events, and then the World Pool Masters as well, winning $40,000. It pays to play good. And it also pays to break good. Wide open here. Might have to go down past the 9. Gonna play the 2 to the right. And look at this layout here. All he's got to do is get on the 3. Just avoid the 9 in and out, or up and down. Did bump the 9 into a little bit of a funny position. Now he might stop on the 4 for the 5 in the corner. I think he's looking at that line now. Definitely not much work involved. Notice the pace at which he hits that ball. A lot of players will hit it, maybe 15-20% firmer. Part of that has to do with being a little bit more uncomfortable. Gorst, in my opinion, the best follow through in the game, the best transition in the game, the best fundamentals, period, in the game. When he slow rolls a ball, his follow through when he's playing good is 6 to 8 inches. Try it sometime. Try to slow roll a ball and follow through 6 to 8 inches. It's easier when you're hitting it firm, but not when you're hitting it soft. All systems go for Gorst. This is getting bloody. And what's a little crazy to me is it just gives you an idea of the power that Gorst has, because Jesus Atencio, I felt like at the beginning of this match, really wasn't that big of an underdog at all. He's got a gear, a real good gear. But Gorst says, good luck. Another routine 9. Speaking of 9, this is game number 9. Gorst leading 8 games to 1. Using the digital pool scoring system. Matchroom Magic Rack, and I think it is the best Magic Rack in the business. If you ever get a chance, purchase a few of the Matchroom Magic Racks. And I also know that they're using the AccuRack as well, so both great racks. This will get Gorst into round 12 without a loss. Jesus will be gone. But I'll tell you what, he had a heck of a run if he does happen to lose this match after losing his first set to SVB. Yeah, he'd like to finish strong here. Gonna get a look at the 3. A little funny, though. Yeah, he's really dialed the 1 in. As you can see, the cue ball was tracking to the right side. The 8 just flicked it out. Yeah, what do you do here? Do you take a chance? Maybe play it to the lower right corner and follow through between the 6 and 8? Or do you just stay disciplined? You could maybe go to the lower left corner as well with an extreme outside ball. Yeah, look at the 6 and 8. That's the line. So maybe cutting the 3 going between them or banking them. One of the two, I can't quite tell. How about just play defense in the highest percentage? Perfect speed. And this is really what you have to look at after trailing 5-1 with an option of a push, and you return it. No fun for Atencio. That's pretty cold-blooded right there. I touched on how good he is with the jump cue, and there you can see why. Here's another look. He had to get way up. It was on the second bounce. Pretty freaking cold-blooded for Atencio, but what are you going to do? You were in a bad spot to begin with. Matter of picking up the pieces here. Basically tic-tac-toe. Connect the dots. Going to the same corner with the green 6. Just don't want to catch it coming out. All is well. Well, a little bit painless for Atencio. At least she didn't jump and scratch in that situation. At 8-8. And he's about to lose to who, in my opinion, is the best player on the planet today. At least with consistency, anyway. Fedor Gorst, as good as they get. Not throwing in the towel, which I think is classy. Gorst going to move on to round number 12. Pretty convincing win right there. Jesus Atencio, heck of a run losing your first round to Shane Van Boning. Until next time, guys, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.